Hey, good to be with you again. I have a knack for coming to talk to you right before we have votes for some reason. We have those coming again, and I want to give some other of my colleagues a chance to address you, but I just can't state it more forcefully, more clearly. This relationship is the diplomatic, informational, military, and economic relationship for the United States of the 21st century. And it's one of the reasons I've taken on the role as co-chair of this caucus. My history with Indian Americans goes back to my childhood. My oldest, dearest childhood friend and best friend is Indian American, whose father, like so many stories that you heard, came with $56 in his pocket before getting his veterinary degree from the University of Georgia. I never knew my father, so this man, this wonderful man, became a father to me. And so I'm proud to have stood in my best friend's wedding. I almost set the place on fire. No one warned me that I would be standing up there holding, I guess it was kind of a sheet in between the two over a bed of candles until my arm was shaking, and I'm wondering why everyone's coming and going. And I look over, the DJ's gone, you know, but I was still standing there trying to hold this thing up. But really near and dear to my heart, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet then Governor Modi in Gujarat. And one of the most special days of my life was to go to Gandhi's ashram in Ahmedabad. And I had with my company at the time a wonderful contract with the Commerce Department to connect Indian and Afghan business owners who literally could not get their product to market given the neighborhood surrounding Afghanistan with Pakistan and with Iran on both their major borders. And so I was able to facilitate those connections across the rug trade, across construction, manufacturing, you name that. I'm still in touch with them, even under the absolute debacle and dictatorship that is the Taliban. Those connections have lasted and they have fostered. And then I guess, you know, finally, I'll say I'm from the Space Coast, and in Florida, I represent the Space Coast up north into Jacksonville, and the future is space, and you can't be number one on Earth if you're number two in space, and our adversaries know that. They know that our entire modern economies are dependent on what's in space, our ability to have a global military presence to stand up on space. They've developed the weapons to take our constellations out. And so we have to work together with our allies to defend what's up there. And when we look at the fact that the Chinese and the Russians have a very real partnership to put manned stations on the moon by the end of this decade, that the Chinese now have a brand new space station, ours is falling into the Earth because it's so old. That we can't do it alone. And together, I look forward to, I was just talking to the ambassador, to having officials from India's space agency to Cape Canaveral to the Space Coast and fostering that relationship. And it's, you know, this may sound esoteric and kind of, well, you know, all right, that's interesting, but that is what's driving STEM. That's what's driving AI. That's what's, I mean, when you look at most of the new applications, everything from biotech and the ability to grow artificial limbs, to the fact that we just had a company build an entire rocket from 3D printing and launch it. And the goal is within the next 3 years to put those 3D printers in space and start building rockets in space. Now you've solved the physics problem. So I know that's a little bit of a niche area, but I think when you talk about the spill-on effects and the partnership that we absolutely can and should have, it's something I'm incredibly excited about. So I look forward to working with all of you. I still have to meet a lot of you in this role, but you know, if no one's living in Minnesota, it's probably because they moved to Florida, right? And we have such a vibrant Indian American community there. We have such a vibrant technology space there in what I call the space triangle between Orlando, Daytona, and Melbourne, Florida, with Cape Canaveral sitting right in the center. And that truly is the future, and this relationship is the future. Thank you so much, and great to be here.